and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking about the top 10 people who have seen heaven. Now I myself am not religious, but I am open-minded. I'm going to be approaching this list with a similar attitude as I would a list about ghost stories or alien sightings, but you may have your own beliefs and experiences, which I encourage you guys to share in the comments section down below. Also, if you guys like our videos, do make sure you leave a thumbs up and hit that notification bell for videos straight in your inbox. I want to start and end this list with some celebrity accounts, so coming into number 10 we have comedian Tracy Morgan. In 2014, Saturday Night Live and 30 Rock alumni had a near-death experience in a multi-vehicle crash that killed one of his friends. While he was out, he says he went to heaven and even saw Biggie Smalls, which he said had lost weight. Good one, Biggie. Tracy also said he saw his dad and that his near-death experience made him more loving. Coming into number 9 we have Dr. Gary Wood. Dr. Gary Wood was clinically dead for an hour following a crash when he was 18. Some 50 years later, in 2017, he spoke on camera on Sid Roth's It's Supernatural. He basically discussed his brush with heaven. He was driving himself and his 16-year-old sister when he crashed into an illegally parked vehicle. In the accident, he suffered almost life-ending injuries as he lost his nose and crushed his larynx. He also broke several bones. Gary said he went to heaven during the hour that he was dead and astonishingly saw God's spare parts room. What is that? In an interview with Sid Roth, he explained, 500 yards from the throne room of God, I saw a sign called Unclaimed Blessings. He said in this room were spare arms, legs, hearts, brains, you name it. He said that God had a spare part for everyone. Gary also likened heaven to a giant golden satellite inhabited by 70-foot angels. He said he saw his best friend from high school who had died in an accident. Eventually, Gary heard his sister calling and he was restored back into his body. Coming into number 8, we have Amber Rose Kordiak. Amber is a total inspiration. She was only 7 years old when she knocked over a tire at her family's farm in Minnesota. While that doesn't sound too bad, the tire was actually a huge tractor tire and the rim sliced her face in half. After falling into a coma, Amber said that she followed bright lights to heaven, but she eventually chose to come back down to earth after seeing her parents' pain. Now 10 years old, Amber has had over a dozen surgeries to reconstruct her face. Coming into number 7 we have Eben Alexander. Eben is a Harvard neurosurgeon who is pretty skeptical about heaven before his near-death experience. In 2008, he contracted rare bacterial meningitis and slipped into a week-long coma. During his coma, he reported that he saw heaven. At the beginning, he said he was in a place of clouds, big puffy pink white ones. He said that the figures he saw were neither birds nor angels but higher winged forms. He said that he traveled through this heaven surrounded by millions of butterflies and a woman who told him he was loved and cherished forever. Sure, some of these visions of heaven have been lovely, but I have to say Lexi Gross's account seems to be like the most fun at number 6. Lexi had a dream about heaven in 2012. Her account was uploaded to YouTube where it has garnered over 120,000 views. Lexi dreamt it was the end of the world. Scary, sure, but no worries, it all worked out. Want to hear her description of heaven? This bit's priceless.
So he brings us up to heaven and we had a party.
Then what happened, Lexi?
So I saw Jesus and I saw some angels. And we did a limbo.
Cool. What is concerning is that she keeps looking off to the side as if she's being prompted by her parents, or she kind of has that like kid lying tick of clutching her buttons and fiddling. I'm sure it's legit though. Coming into number 5 we have Colton Burpo. Colton was only 3 when he allegedly saw heaven. He had an operation on his appendix when he was unconscious and he said he saw a higher plane. 8 years later, age 11, he released a book to discuss his experience. It seems, aged just 3, he claims to have seen Jesus who was wearing robes with a purple sash. He said he saw God's throne room and he used things that he liked to calm him down. Now Colton's dad said his son creeped him out afterwards. He talked about how he met his own granddad in heaven. A video of Colton and his family discussing his experience has had over 38 million views on YouTube. Now his experience was even turned into a real movie called Heaven is for Real. Coming into number 4 we have Sondra Abrahams. Sondra had a hysterectomy as a result of cervical cancer, aged just 30. She was already a Catholic, so obviously had a belief in heaven and hell. However, she experienced it for herself in 1970 when she died for 2 minutes. She said she was suddenly pulled through the ceiling and into another dimension where she saw a light. She said Christ put his arms around her and showed her a review of her life. He then showed her a lake on fire and then purgatory. In her 2 minutes of death, Sondra seemed to have a lot of chats with Christ. Allegedly, he warned her against test tube babies, abortion and euthanasia. Convenient. Coming into number 3, we have an ISIS fighter. In 2015, a 32-year-old jihadi experienced clinical death after fighting in Syria. He was tended by Saint Dominican Catholic monks and he was nursed back to health. Once healthy again, he told a priest that he had been to the gates of heaven and had been denied entry. He said as he ascended into the light, jinns or devilish entities dragged him to the pits of hell. In hell, he had to feel the pain he had inflicted on others. Allah spoke to him and told him he had the chance to repent his sins. Coming in at number 2, we have Johnny Cash. In 1988, the famous country music singer Johnny Cash had an emergency double heart bypass. During this time, he said he saw heaven and a peaceful light. He outlined his experience in an autobiography and said that the light had changed him and led him for the better. Finally, coming into number 1, we have one of the biggest movie stars of all time. Elizabeth Taylor saw heaven. Hollywood royalty Elizabeth Taylor died for 5 minutes when she was in her late 20s. She relayed the story to Oprah. She said she had an out-of-body experience and saw people working around her. She said she floated into a tunnel and saw a welcoming white sun with a lot of warmth. She said it was like being weightless in liquid mercury. Her late husband Mike Todd was there to greet her. Now he died 3 years earlier and she said she just wanted to be there with him. He said, "No baby, you can't, it's not your time, you have to fight and go back." She said she didn't talk about her experience for years afterwards because she didn't know if it was a dream or not. So guys, that was the top 10 people who have seen heaven. Do you agree with scientific explanations for near-death experiences, or do you believe that these people actually saw heaven? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also guys, have you ever had a near-death experience? I want to hear from you. Make sure you do leave me a comment. For now, I am your host, Rebecca Felgate. If you like this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing videos. Bye!